Last fight topic I want to talk to you about Fundora Spence. So Fundora Spence obviously is a fight that just got announced. It sounds like you got Bud. He was involved in some way, shape, or form on allowing it to happen,
Hmm.
with the possibility of then unifying down the line. So my first question for you is just regarding Fundora Spence. How do you see that fight breaking down, especially considering Spence has had a long layoff, he's coming off a tough loss, and it's his
Right.
first time at that division?
Nah, it's a fun fight. It depends like which version of Errol Spence we get, especially in a new weight class. But again, inactivity does hurt us all, especially as we getting older. I feel like Fundora alone is a fun fighter to watch, just based off his activity and just what he does. Like the fact that he really doesn't use much of his height, but you know what I'm saying, he brings it to you. But I felt that he was smart enough in the Tim Tszyu fight to actually start using his range. You know what I mean? Especially when that cut open. So that I was like, man, as long as he plays it smart in boxes, I felt like he was going to get the nod, especially with the blood all in Tim's way in his face. And when Dora just kept picking at it over and over. And I just felt like he was smart down the stretch by just boxing, instead of just trying to, prove a point, go out there and be too macho. But I think it's a fun fight. I know a lot of people that root for Errol. Of course, you guys all see it. They feel like, maybe they feel like he wasn't himself at 147 or whatever, even though I felt like, Errol definitely prepared well for that fight with Bud. But again, you got the people that the naysayers are just going to think otherwise and respected him as well. But again, they probably feel like Errol's probably, will be a lot more replenished and a lot more, healthier and better at 154. So who knows? I just think if anything that's gonna hurt him, probably maybe that inactivity. But Errol, once he gets that engine running, he becomes a dog. He's a dog in there.
Yeah, and Fedor may be tailor-made for him, right? In the sense that, I mean, if he's not using the distance, he likes to fight on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
inside a lot.
If Errol getting that chest and start hitting that body, it's gonna be a whole different fight.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Now, he wins the fight, let's say potentially. Now he's a unified champ, depending, or at least he has one belt. Bud's got the other belt, or the other belt, potentially the WBO as well. They rematch. Let's say that happens, right? So now they both lined up for a rematch. Do you think that fight plays out any different at 154?
I don't know. I don't know. If anything, I still lean towards Bud in that fight, honestly. Just because like just for me watching Bud up close all the time and what that man can do, and I've seen, like don't let that last fight fool you with any reason. And again, it probably goes into the same thing we spoke earlier about being familiar with a certain individual, but even if it is a second time around. But I feel like the way it's being mapped out is definitely mapping out for a Bud Crawford to make a third, undisputed run. Because again, I think they said the WBO might, like you just pointed, they might strip one and give the belt or make, from intern to the full champ or whatever with Bud. And I think Bud is in talks with Tim Tszyu if he gets the IBF strap. So that, again, although I think like you're saying Bud is trying to be is moving very strategic and just going into nothing but championship fights, you know what I mean? Or fights that have a meaning to get to that undisputed maybe for a third time. So that's how I can see it all playing out, and again for both of them to be fighting for undisputed again for the second time against each
That'd
other.
be dope. Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah.
As a fan, as a friend, what would you rather see? Bud get the Canelo fight or Bud unify, or excuse me, become undisputed in the third weight class?
I'm cool with either one, but I definitely like to see him get undisputed. For sure. For sure. But again, he probably got undisputed with the Canelo fight as well. You know what I mean?
Canelo don't have what don't
So,
he
but
he lost one
again,
of them. He lost one of
but
them.
yeah,
I
but
forget.
again, what I'm saying? I think, but it's the legacy is that at the end of the day, his legacy is cemented. You know what I mean? But I think I would love to see for the history just for boxing, definitely undisputed in on three weight classes in a row. You know what I mean? Three different weight classes in a row. That'll be a dope feat.
Yeah, yeah, it really would. It really would. So, just before I can try, I just want to get your thoughts on a couple of things. But did you, or are you a gamer? Have you tried out this undisputed game? You have any thoughts about it? Have you seen it at all?
No, I'm a gamer. And definitely, I mean, I plan on getting in, but for me, I'm big on like games like that, like boxing, like career modes, and I know I'm in the game because again I did all the scanning like years ago. At that for a fact, matter of fact, I signed the contract to get in the game, so I'll be in the game down the line. I'm just like one of them dudes like when my character or whatever comes available. then I probably, because I already got it on Steam anyway. So I have it, I have played it, I've been familiar with it. But again, for me, everything is like for PS5 right now. I honestly right now I'm on the Dragon Ball Z Sparking Zero. People probably was like, "Yeah, DBZ." Like, I play everything, so I'm on that right now. So I'm on. I played like last week was the Wukong, Black Myth Wukong game. So like me, I'm still a gamer.
No, that's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
Are you a Dragon Ball Z fan or you just like that game?
I'm a fan. I watched I just finished. Me and my brother, we just finished watching the first episode of the new anime that just came out on Diamond or whatever. So I watch all that. Like when I be at home or whatever, and I just be lay down in bed at night, I'll sit there on my laptop, on my chest. I'm watching Crunchyroll app, on my MacBook. I'm watching all the deep. I'm watching them right now. I'm on the Cell Saga. So I'll I'll go
Dope.
start the whole thing over. It's not just me. So yeah, I always been big on DBZ anime.
Yo, let me tell you something real quick. Back in the day, right, when I was a kid, so not that long ago, maybe a little while ago, but back in the day, Cartoon Network, when they bought
Yeah,
DBZ,
the
they
tsunami.
only yeah, they only had it up to like when he beats Vegeta, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know this. I would come home, you watch it for like 2 months. I think it's like 60 episodes. And then it gets to that episode where he finally Vegeta and him fight, whatever. And then it would start over
Yeah,
because they
it
didn't buy
was
all
the
the
worst.
rights.
It was the most frustrating thing. Like, but I had like, coming up in New York also, we got the shops. Of course, you start finding out that there's Japanese DVDs with the subtitles. So I remember my best friend, God rest his soul, Stephen Brown, he used to always get the set, So we were like again, I remember at one point we just seen the Freezer saga forever, and it was like, yo,
Yeah,
we like when we go, all right, we done, we done, we like we're tired of seeing the same thing. But my boy had got the Japanese dubbed DVDs, and we started with just watch those, and we be ahead of the and then internet was starting, it was definitely big on like the forums stuff that growing up as a kid. So yeah, I always kept up with it. I'm one of them dudes that argue which is the best between that and the Taro. Always gonna pick DBZ. Y'all tripping.
facts. Facts. Yo,
Yeah.
I used to have to go to the library, Jamel. When they used, that's you're right. That's where it ended the Frieza saga. So I used to get so mad that it would restart. I would go to the library up the block. I grew up in Brooklyn, Queens. I would go to
Right.
the library and I would get in so much trouble because I would print out the whole episode synopsis for the
Yeah,
rest
right,
of the
right, yeah.
episodes. Ooh, they would be on my head like you can't print 60 pages, sir. And I would be leaving. Just I
That's
gotta
when the
see what's
print
on the
was slow with
DBZ.
it. Yeah.
Facts, bro. My mom used to be like, "Why do you have all these pages? What is all this?" And I'm like,
Got a damn book and shit.
Man, I got all the facts on DBZ. If you need it, call me
For
for
real.
sure.
You was the
Nah, that's
plug.
dope.
You was the plug on anime back in the day. Like, yo, I know what's about to happen. I ain't gonna tell you though.
Yup, I had my what they called it in New York, man. I can't even my trapper keeper. And
Yeah.
the right. So I used to have that a binder for those of you wondering what the heck I'm talking about. But I used to have my binder and my schoolwork, and it was like a little bit of schoolwork and like all episode synopsis, just the
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
DBZ
right.
saga. Good times. But that's dope. You in the game, man. And I definitely wanted to put that out there to the fans. I didn't know if you were or if you weren't. Forgive me for not knowing that offhand, but I figured I'd ask you. So I'm sure you look forward to. I mean, here's what I asked everybody about it. So besides yourself, I know you look forward to fighting with yourself. If you could make a dream match, any two fighters, who would you make in that game?
Hmm. Green fighter.
Yeah, like if it's any two fighters all time, let's just assume that they're in the game. But if you could play with any two guys, what would your dream matchup be? I'll toss you a bone. For me, it would be Bud versus Floyd. That's what I would do.
Floyd, like I said, Floyd need to get in the game, but I know Floyd Price is Floyd Price. I ain't
Yeah.
that's Floyd. That's I guess they got label of Floyd's Price is Floyd's Price, but yeah.
Floyd might just have his own game where
I was
he
happy.
just
I was happy
Floyd.
when I seen Floyd, fight night round two back in the day. Man, I was in Iraq when that game that came out, and Floyd was on it, going back to that, just that time frame. But yeah, if I had to make a dream fight, um, man, that's a tough one, man. That's tough. What are people saying in the comments, right now? I know, like in terms of
Oh, I
that.
got you. I got you. Think about that. Well, we triggered them with the anime talk for sure. So we got my man
Yeah,
Mr. Quake been going in. He said, let's see here, let's see here. He said, who's not a Dragon Ball Z fan? I love Dragon Ball Z Kai. Toonami. He was shouting out Toonami. I mean,
right.
I remember Naruto or One Piece. So we got this is recent. I go back in it a little bit. But yeah, Mr. Quake is a big anime fan. He said, "Rest in peace, Akira Toriyama," for sure.
Yeah, of course. The guy, the Godfather, and many of our eyes, just who into that. But yeah,
Yeah.
man, shit, I'm still on here because like,
Keep thinking.
no,
Let's
I
see.
always, like I said, I always like just not even a dream fight. I always wanted to see like Marquez and Eric Morales. Eric Morales is actually one of my favorite fighters growing up, and I was like, we all like people even still this day ask, yo, why we never got that fight? And those guys seem like they always fought in that same pool of
Around each
fighters.
other.
Yeah, but it was like we never got that fight, and I mean, Eric Morales, when he fought Barrera the first times, were really because that's when I really started getting heavy into boxing. I remember watching that on HBO, whatever. And that's when I really started getting into it. Like I can go back like watching Shane Mosley, Oscar De La Hoya, their first fight. That was big. That was
Oh,
big. Bernard Hopkins, Trinidad, that's another one of my favorites. So like a lot of those guys,
yeah,
like
that broke my heart. You see my name, the Puerto Rican kid.
yeah, I
Put a
mean, I was
crack
working
in
for
my
my man B.
heart.
I was working for my man B out, man. 'Cause Trinidad, like we knew Trinidad was that guy. Like he was that guy. Once he got that back foot up as that, like I said, that Kickstarter, he was definitely gonna hit you with something crazy if he caught you with something.
Ugh, man, I didn't
I ain't
know
gonna
enough
lie.
about boxing
I ain't gonna
then.
lie. I was probably one of them. I was probably one of them guys that always argue like who was better, between Trinidad and Cotto, because at one point you had those two bases, like so I was that, but I was always the Trinidad guy, but I was respecting Miguel Cotto for what he did for what he did for the game, of course. I always respected that guys who definitely did above and beyond than anything that I've done. So I always pay my respects to all those guys, but I was definitely a Trinidad guy too.
Facts, man. Trinidad is how I got into boxing, man. Seventh
He need to
grade,
get
I'm
him in the
walking to
game
school.
too. Matter of fact, get his ass in the game. I need to call him up too. Get some of him, Hopkins, all these, get a Legends pack and get some of these guys in the game for real.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. My man Carlos Adams, he works in the game. I let him know. I said, man, we got some requests. I
Yeah,
sent him a
man.
message. I was just talking to him earlier, actually. That's funny. But yeah, nah, what? Trinidad is you pulling at my heartstrings, man.
Yeah,
99, man. That was the year, that's the fight that brought me into boxing, Trinidad and Oscar
yeah.
De La Hoya. So Trinidad Vargas.
That fight broke my heart because I mean, cause think about it. Growing up, Oscar De La Hoya, Golden Boy. It was named Golden Boy for a reason. So like it was like one of the things, especially as a kid. Every time you really look at it's people HBO boxing, you always knew it was with reflection with Oscar De La Hoya. So when Oscar lost, I was like, damn, I can't look at saying, and I thought even though I thought he lost the fight with Whitaker, in my opinion, what I'm saying, but at the end, it was like you thought he couldn't lose though at that point in time. Like he can't lose. Like, and I was shocked, like, damn. But again, when you start with critiquing him, like, yeah, Oscar, you was wild and doing that, they took those last three, 4 rounds off, bro. Like, but shout out to Oscar.
Absolutely.
It's crazy because me and Oscar, like, at times we'll talk about things. We'll talk about business, and so like it's just a blessing. Like I said, guys I actually watch. I have conversations with now, and things like that. Even with Floyd, when I run to Floyd at times, when he's available. So like, I respect all those guys.
We triggered them in the comments, and now people are shooting out the fights they would have liked to see. And we got stuff like Lennox Lewis versus Riddick Bowe, Trinidad versus Shane Mosley. Let's
Yeah.
see, 135-pound Shane Mosley versus Tank Dream Fight.
I seen that one. I seen that one on Twitter as a debate, what I mean. Definitely seen that one have pop up.
Man, it would have been crazy. It definitely would have been crazy.